So you ever got in trouble before? Like just randomly, like basically, some older person catches you and your friends doing something. And you know how they always hit you with the, oh, I'm gonna tell your parents, or they just like take the belt out or something. This is an instance when that went wrong in a very sacred place. So let's get into the story. So this story time takes place back when I was 10 years old. And my friend and his dad, they were like very church going people, which I found surprising because my friend, which we'll call Danny was not he wasn't a very good kid. See, Danny was the type of kid where when you and your parents walked by, your parents would be like, don't hang out with that kid. He was just a very bad kid. So one day, like his dad basically was like, hey, Jay, since you stayed the night, would you like to go to church with us? And I was like, sure. So we all get ready, we drive to the church, we finally get there, everybody gets out, he gives both of us a Bible, and he's like, alright, go to the kid church, and I'll be in the adult church, and then at the end, we can go get something to eat. So I was like, okay. So we go to the kid church, and kid church is typical. We basically, we watch a movie, get some snacks, but the movie is like about, like the Bible and stuff, and then like they cover the story, but they try to make it in a fun way that kids can relate to. So around like 20 minutes before church is about to end, basically, me and Danny decide that like we were just gonna play tag in this hallway because it was like a long hallway, and basically like we were just playing tag while other kids were kind of just like standing there waiting on their parents. So while we were playing tag, this old guy comes up and he's basically like, "You kids need to stop running around in God's house." And me and Danny kind of turn and look at him, and we just go back to playing because we're like, "What is this old man gonna do?" And then like the old man. Basically, Danny goes to run past him. The old man kind of grabs Danny's like shirt and starts to grip him up. And Danny's like, "You get off of me, cause my dad will come up here. He'll beat you up." And he was like, "Your dad need to learn how to raise a better son." And Danny didn't take like kindly to that. He was like, "Old man, get off of me." And like, I was kind of just sitting there, and I was like, "What's gonna happen?" So the old man was like, "You say one more bad thing to me, and I'm gonna beat you in front of everybody." And he looked Danny in his eyes when he said that. Danny kind of paused for a second, like in like a shock, like, whoa. Because his dad was one of those people who like never beat their child or anything like that. Which, not like, beating your child is not abusive, but like sometimes, some children like Danny do need that. But his dad just didn't believe in beating children. So he was just like, he was shocked because nobody ever told him something like that. So he kind of like looked at the old man in shock for a second, and then everything went quiet. And then Danny was just like, "F you, old man." And the old man took this belt off and like turned Danny around and just started beating. And Danny's, he's wailing, he's trying to get away because the old man he had Danny's arm. So he probably hit him probably like 5 times, but Danny finally broke it off and basically started running. So when he started running, I started running after Danny. And the old man, like while we were running away, he was like, "Hope you kids learned your lesson because you shouldn't be doing that in the house of God." And like we're running, and I'm like, Danny, wait up. So Danny goes to the main church. Basically, like everyone's getting let out, and his dad walks through like the doors, and he was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Because Danny's crying. You can see like his shirt is kind of roughed up a little bit, and Danny tells him that this old man basically beat him for no reason. So his dad's like, "Let me have a word with this old man. Let me tell you the type of dad that this guy is." Danny's dad was one of those parents where it's like their son could do no wrong. Like their child can do no wrong in their eyes. They could burn a building down and they'll still be like, "Well, that's the building's fault." So Danny's dad walks up. Danny basically points out the guy who beat him. The old man, he basically sees Danny, sees his dad, sees me, and basically walks over, thinking that he's about to, tell his parent what really happened. So old man is like, "Hey, you must be Danny's," and Danny's dad just cut him off and was like, "Did you put your hands on my son?" And he was like, he kind of had like his finger out to where it was like pointing at him. And old man was like, "Yes, because your son was being very disrespectful and disrespecting the house of God." And like, Danny's dad was having that. He was like, "You have no right to put your hands on my son. I could call the police right now." Danny's dad is kind of yelling at him, and you can slowly see that the old man is starting to get mad. So eventually, the old man snaps, and he's just like, "Well, if you raised a proper son, I wouldn't have to." So when he said that, Danny's dad kind of like got in his face and was like, "You say that one more time, and we're gonna be fighting in here." And the old man was like, "You gonna fight me in the house of God? You gonna disrespect God like that? Maybe I should beat you. Your parents ought to teach you that you shouldn't be acting like this in the house of God." And they're like getting like both of them were getting mad. They in each other's faces, they pointing at each other and stuff like that. And me and Danny are kind of just sitting back, and the rest of the kids are kind of like all looking. And actually, one of the kids went to get their parents, and then like the pastor and like a couple other people came upstairs, kind of broke it up, told everybody to leave and everything. On the car drive home, Danny and his dad kept talking about like how the guy was messed up for doing that. And the whole time I was sitting there thinking like, wow, this all wouldn't have happened if Danny would just shut up, like if he just wouldn't have said anything and just stopped running, So eventually they dropped me off and everything, like at my house. And probably like 3 weeks later, I found out that they actually got kicked out of the church for that. And yeah, so moral of the story, don't run around and play in church. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed that story time, make sure you smash the like button, turn on post notifications, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!